Okay, hi guys, welcome to our class today. Thank you for being here to learn English. And I know that, from our last lesson, we were talking about using the future verb, the future tense. So when we talk about the future, what is happening in our life, we say the subject first, and then we use will verb, and then the action. So the action is the verb. So for example, tomorrow I will have my English class. Tomorrow I will go to work. So we looked at the future tense. We also looked at using the definite article the. So we know when to use the for places in the world. And what are we going to do today? Well, today we are going to read an article. So making sure that we practice our pronunciation of correctly saying the words. Looking at the earth, we're going to use the world as an article to talk about what is happening in the world, and also using how. So we're going to start asking questions with the word how. So for example, how far, how close, how much, how many, how old. And then we're going to talk about places that we would like to visit. So we're going to practice using this grammar word called would. And it's like saying, I would like to go to Italy. So it's using would to show that it's like what we would, it's like want, another way to say want. So would like. Okay, so let's get into our classes. So before we read the article, let's talk about, do you think that we will live, anywhere else in the world? So not just on the earth. So we know that last lesson we looked at the earth and parts of the earth. We looked at the land and we looked at the ocean, the sea. So we want to talk about if we think that it's possible that humans can live anywhere else outside of the earth. So we can say sentences like, remember, we're using our future tense, will, and the negative won't. So you could say something like, I think humans won't live near the sun. Okay, so negative, I think they won't. Because we're talking about in the future, they won't live near the sun. It will be too hot. You can say sentences like, I think humans will live on Mars in the future. And then you can say why? Because scientists have studied the possibility of life on Mars. And they found that this planet does have water and oxygen. And the possibility to grow vegetables. So that's an idea. So we're talking about we think, because remember, when we say we think, we're not 100% sure. Okay, but it's just an idea. We think in the future that humans will live on Mars. And we said why? You could say a sentence like, I think that it is possible that humans will live on Mars. Okay, another way to say the same sentence as before. But they will have health issues because of the long journey to get there. Okay, so there's no wrong answer. This is what your thoughts are. What do you think? Okay, it's not like it's a true thing that will happen, but what do you think will happen in the future? Where will people live? Maybe they'll stay on Earth. Maybe we will only ever have this one planet to live on. Okay, so that's how we use our idea, what we think will happen in the future. So we're not saying this is exactly going to happen in the future, but we think it will. Okay, so, and if you want to respond, you could say, yes, definitely, possibly, but I'm not sure. No, never. I don't think so. Okay, so that's how we respond when someone tells us what they think. Okay, let's read the article and we're going to read together so you guys will get extra practice for being in class today. We have an article today. It is called Looking for a New Earth. Okay, so we can see that this is our world. This is our Earth, where it is made up of sky, the atmosphere, land, and ocean. And all the elements like minerals and vitamins. So let's read together. And we will read to practice our English. Okay, so the title is Looking for a New Earth. Okay, for thousands of years, humans explored the Earth. Now astronomers are exploring space, looking for new planets or a new Earth for humans to live on in the future. But what will a new Earth look like? First of all, astronomers look for a star. That's because our own Earth orbits a sun, a star. When astronomers have found a star, they look for planets around it. In recent years, astronomers have found thousands of new planets orbiting stars. Once they find a new planet, it's also important to measure the distance between the planet and the sun. That's because most planets, unlike our Earth, are either too near to the star or too far away. When they find a planet in a good position, astronomers look for three things: water, air, and rock. Water is important because if humans go there, they will need water to drink and to grow plants. If you can grow plants, then the plants can produce air for humans to breathe. Finally, astronomers also look for rocks because water is often under the rocks. In recent years, astronomers have found a few planets that are very similar to Earth. For example, Gliese 581G is a planet at a safe distance from the nearest star. Astronomers also think it has water and rock. The average temperature is between minus 31 degrees Celsius degrees Celsius and minus 12 degrees Celsius. which is cold, but not colder than Antarctica or the Arctic Circle. However, there are some differences. Gliese 581G is bigger than the Earth, and a year on Gliese 581G is only 37 Earth days instead of 365. And the biggest problem is the distance. Gliese 581G is 18 trillion kilometers from the Earth. Okay, just some vocab. Breathe means to take air in through your nose or your mouth. Okay, so we just read the article. Let's answer some questions about what we read. So it says, as a result, they are too hot and gassy or too cold and icy for human life. That sentence from number 3, we can find it in the first paragraph. Sorry, it's we can find it in the second paragraph, because that's where it talked about so as a result, they are too hot and gassy or too cold and icy for human life. So that's in paragraph 2. Because it says it's important, once you find a new planet, to measure the distance between the planet and the sun. That's because most planets are either too close to the star or too far away. Now, this sentence, with current space technology, humans will take 766,000 years to travel there. We can find that in the last paragraph, because it tells us that Gliese is 18 trillion kilometers from the Earth. So in the last paragraph. And how do you find a new Earth? That was in the first paragraph. It tells us how. It says, this question, how do you find a new paragraph? If you look at the first paragraph, it says, you know, looking for a new planet or a new Earth, humans to live on in the future. But what will the Earth look like? So even if we can't see water on a planet, it's sometimes there. That's in the third paragraph, because it says water is important. But if you look under the rock, you can find water there. So even if we can't see it, water, we can find water under the rock. That's in the third paragraph. And the last one, humans can live in those temperatures. That was in the fourth paragraph, because it said, it told us about, you know, minus 31 degrees and minus 12 degrees. Okay, let's have a look at some vocab. So if I said astronomer, an astronomer is, it's a title of a job. Any noun that has an ER, like teacher, doctor, lawyer, astronomer. So astronomer is someone who studies the planet and stars. So astronomer. So someone who studies the planets and stars in space. Okay, so here are just some vocab. If we have a planet, okay, a planet is a large round object in space. It's made of rock and metal or gas, like the Earth. That's a planet. And we have Mars, Venus, Jupiter. That's what a planet is, a large round object in space. And every planet is different. Some are similar in ways and some are very different. A star. What is a star? Besides being like a movie star or a singer, a star is a large round object, okay, similar to the planet. It's a large round object, but it's of burning gas in space. And we have the sun. We know that the sun is the largest star. Okay, so for example, the sun. That's the largest star. And then you see all the little stars at night that twinkle. Twinkle means like, you know, they go like the light is like that. Orbiting. Okay, so we know that orbiting is an action. It's a verb. We've got the ing. So what does that mean? It is going around a planet or star. So it's orbiting. It's going around, orbiting. It's an action. Rock. Rock is the solid part. That means the hard part, the solid part of the earth or a planet. Okay, the hard part. Okay, so that's some vocab to do with our world, and not just our world, but the universe outside. So when astronomers look for a new Earth, what do they look for in space? Question 5. We know from the article that when the astronomers look for, what do they look for? Water, air, and rock. So what do they look for? Sorry, they look for if it has planets around it. So when they find a new Earth, a new place, they see if there's planets around it, and then they measure the distance between the planet and the sun. And when they find a new planet, what do they look for? We know the 3 most important things that we need to survive: water, air, rock. So if you find these 3 things in another planet, then life can be there. But we need water, air, and rock. It's a necessity. It must be 3 of them. And if we do have 3 of them, like I said, we can survive. But they haven't yet found a planet that has these 3 things that we need. Similar, like they said, they did find one, but it's very far away. Gazelle 58G1. You know, they said it's possible. How is Giselle 58G1 similar to Earth? Well, it's at a safe distance from the nearest star. So it's not too close to the sun. So that's good, because then we will burn, we'll be in too much heat. So it's at a safe distance. And it has water and rock. How is Giselle 58G1 different to Earth? It's bigger. That's how it's different. And it only has 37 days instead of 365 days. So imagine every 37 days is a year. So the next year will be in 37 days, next year in 37 days. So it has a different amount of days and it's bigger. Okay, so we want to talk about just number 6. The answer is A. The writer thinks we will find similar planets in the future. But we definitely won't live there. I think that's what the writer's showing us. So the writer thinks, because remember, thinks means what's your opinion? What do you believe? So he thinks we will, using the future simple, we will find similar planets in the future, but we definitely won't live there. So negative, won't live there. That's what I think the writer, when I read his article, this is what I feel. Okay, but we definitely won't live there. Okay, let's talk about using this how when we want to ask questions. So we know that when we ask a question, we're getting information about something. And one of the ways that we can ask a question is to start our question with how. And there's many different things you can find out. So for example, how do you find? For example, how do you find living in Australia? That means, do you like it? How do you find a new earth? How do you find something? You can say, how old? For example, how old is your father? How old is your dog? How old is someone or something? How long? Okay, so old was about age, but long is more about the time. So how long is your class for? It's about time. How long have you been living in Australia? If I say how far, that means the distance. I want to know how close or far something is. So for example, how far is your work from home? Or how far is the next restaurant? So I want a distance, 2 kilometers, 10 minutes. Okay, you can answer by using kilometers or by time. How far? How to. We know that how to, there's a lot of how-to videos. You can go on YouTube, how to make a cake, how to make something that's creative, art. Okay, lots of how-to videos on YouTube. How many? So how many? I want a number. For example, how many hours did you sleep last night? How many people are in your class? How many countries have you visited? Or you can also say seen. How many countries have you seen? How much? Now, how much question is about money. So I want to know, how much does something cost? How much was your laptop? How much does a ticket from Adelaide to Paris cost? Okay, how much was your book? How much was your dress? So that's how we use how questions. Okay, you can see they all start with how, but it depends what you want to know. How to make something, how long something is, how much money something is, how to do something. Because when we say how to make a cake, we're asking how to do something. Okay, now we are going to think of a place you'd like to visit. So imagine that you can go somewhere. Where would you like to go? So we want to use the verb would go. So think of a place you'd like to visit. Let's read some examples. So only talk about one place. So Anna says, I would like to visit Switzerland to see its stunning landscapes, go hiking and skiing. I also want to eat the well-known cheese fondue and the variety of breads and cakes. Victor says, I'd like to visit Machu Picchu as it's a wonderful place. It's an old city built many years ago and could be a different and great experience for me. Brian says, I would like to visit Norway because it has many beautiful landscapes. It seems like a beautiful place with good local food that I want to try, especially the seafood. It has many museums showing the Viking culture. This is something that interests me. I would also see the Northern Lights while there. Yelis says, I want to visit Dubai because of its stunning modern architecture, vibrant culture, luxurious lifestyle, and the opportunity to experience a unique blend of tradition and innovation. Sebastian says, I think I will travel to Netherlands. I like this country because it has an amazing agricultural production of indoor crops. So we need to change this because he needs to say, I would like. So make sure you're using, I would like to travel to Netherlands. Now, Netherlands is a country. It's also known as Holland. I like this country because it has an amazing agricultural productions. I would like to learn about technology while I'm there. So, and while I'm there, I would like to learn about technology. Fo says, I would like to visit. So I would like to visit a tourist destination in Vietnam called Da Nang City. Is that right, Henry? Da Nang City.
Đà Nẵng. Đà
Yep.
Nẵng.
Which
Đà
has
Nẵng.
many beautiful bridges, such as the Han River Bridge, the Dragon Bridge, Thuan Phuoc Bridge, and the Love Bridge.
Thuận Phước
Okay.
Bridge. Yes.
You know, have you been to this place?
Yes, I've been there. I've been there before.
Good, good. So there you go. That's where Pho would like to go. So we want to use would, and he puts a beautiful image. Dickerson says, I would like to visit Tasmania for many reasons. One of them is to see Aurora australis as pictured above, and also to have the possibility of seeing Australian snow caps. The fauna is different there compared to South Australia. So Tasmania seems to be a place like that. And I like the cold. Angeli says, I would like to visit Thailand because it has many beautiful and paradisical beaches. I would also like to experience its culture and food. George says, Japan. I would like to see Japan for its culture and beautiful places. Besides that, I would like a new experience with trying Japanese food. It seems to me a good idea to go on a trip to Japan. Yaneth says, I would like to visit beaches and tropical places with animals. It makes me feel peaceful, happiness, makes me feel peaceful, happy, and tranquility to go there. See a sunset, walk on the sand, and see animals. Okay, so now you're going to write, think of a place you would like to visit. Remember, using subject, would, like, verb. So because it's about us, I would like to visit, and then the name of the place. So make sure that's how your sentence starts. I would like to visit, and then tell me why.